for you. So I guess, what I'd love to start is at a high level, please explain to folks, and Kylie, I want to begin with you, the origin behind Peace Through Trade. What was the intention of engaging in this blockchain world, and what's that journey been like?
Thank you, Matt, for having us here. We're very excited. I'm very excited to be here at my first EarthX. Well, I love that question. There's a lot of reasons why we went on this endeavor with Peace Through Trade. One is simply the current state of the blockchain space. It's pretty much the wild, wild west. And it wasn't really a safe place for consumers. And for myself, that's a priority. Feeling safe with my finances and where I'm investing, and knowing that I won't be hacked or etc. is very important. Or at least if that does happen, there are repercussions or insurance and things like that is very important. And we were really just inspired to uplift the quality of life of people as well with this work, because we know the value and the power that blockchain technology truly has to uplift the quality of life for people. Just getting equitable access to finance, and doing it in a sustainable way, which hasn't been really done to date with a lot of legacy blockchains. It's quite energy intensive. And so that, along with then the philosophy of understanding that if we can support everyone and to uplift the quality of life, and they're no longer, say, worried about feeding their children tonight, that they can then perhaps care more about the environment and invest more in their communities, and not worry about basic fundamental problems in their life, and really start to look at the world and how they can participate in even just pollution in their communities.
Well, I think maybe, especially for those who are here attending a nature summit, the best place maybe to start, Arai, is what is blockchain?
It's a great question, and it was interesting because Her Excellency, the UN representative of the Solomon Islands, who's been here at Nature Summit, asked me that. She said, what is blockchain? How does it work? And I said, okay, well, can you tell me how your Visa card works? And she said, no. I said, okay, but can you tell me how your mobile banking works and how you're able to, send money? No, I have no idea. I said the same thing really comes down to blockchain and really the underlying mechanics of quantum. We're not going to need to know how they work. It doesn't even really matter. With blockchain, though, effectively, it's in the word. There are a chain of blocks, and it started off with figuring out how to secure information from cryptography, and it started off because we recognized that it would be safe and secure, and whatever we put in that blockchain, whether it's information or finance, it should allow our information or money to be safer than ever before. It actually started off, interesting story, our other third founding partner, our core developer, who could not be here today, he's a professor in Southeast Asia. His family was actually involved in the military in Australia. And one of the first ever usages of blockchain, which the world doesn't really know about, was used to track helicopter parts. Because as they were building a helicopter for the Australian military, some random pieces would go missing. And it's not something at first you would really notice. A tiny little piece. Turns out for the military, that tiny little piece could have been $100,000, or so they actually, started using. So it's very interesting applications. And what I wanted to share with people in closing. So first of all, thank you, Matthew, for all of your tireless work with GRP and now Borealis, right, in the future. If you have a chance to work with Matthew Trench in Nature Summit and Borealis, Blockchain for the Goals, I would highly recommend it. We've spent the last year, we met Matthew here last year. As a result, the government of Panama officially invited us as a project to come meet with them, understand what their goals were. It always takes a little bit of time to educate government officials on a new emerging technology and then what that could represent for them. But a year later, We signed yesterday officially with the Minister of Environment an MOU to establish and move forward on the understanding of the technology academically and the exploration of sustainable solutions, not only for Panama, but Panama and the world. So that was pretty cool, 1 year later.
Super cool, and a testament to, frankly, the merits of your technology and what you've built. What's interesting about blockchain and how it relates to sustainability is a lot of blockchain is criticized for, frankly, not being sustainable. I'd love if, Kailea, you can share how sustainability fits into peace through trade.
Yeah, so to give you guys an example, Bitcoin right now uses approximately 16 nuclear power plants worth of energy a year. That's not really sustainable. Obviously it really sets a very high bar to entry for even developing nations to be able to get involved in mining, or you have to have the power facilities and then the mining facilities, and those are very large investments. So there's really a big chunk of, a lot of people that are not able to then participate. And to date, Peace Through Trade has been built on solar. So the AI-infused blockchain makes it more efficient. And once we are at scale, say to the same amount of users Bitcoin has, we would be about 10,000 times more efficient. And in layman's terms, 0.8 of a nuclear power plant worth of energy consumption in comparison. So that's how we would be defined as sustainable.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. And I think one of the reasons a government like Panama that is extremely sensitive to sustainability and the climate and nature would be so open to engaging Peace Through Trade as that blockchain solution for what they're building. I know one of the interests they have is around carbon markets. Oriah, I would love for you to kind of talk about the state of carbon markets and how does blockchain fit into carbon markets?
Yeah, thank you, Matthew. So first of all, getting back to what I said first of all, that we don't really have to understand how the technology works, but I assure you it's safer and it's faster than anything we've ever had before. So right now, our financial systems and the technology for those are kind of siloed throughout the world. The SWIFT system is how most of us send wire transfers, and that is predominantly here in the West. And the systems don't necessarily communicate all over the globe. China has their own system. Southeast Asia works on a similar one. India has a very centralized system. They're a part of SWIFT, but they have their own systems. Africa as well is in their own systems, and those don't totally connect as well as we would like them to, and we may not feel as safe or secure when using them. So carbon markets, blockchain, what it really opens up the door is for us to have trust that the safety and the security is so great that we can actually participate in something from all over the world. And the goal with blockchain is that we can have more of humanity interacting with a market, in this case a carbon market, than ever before. And so it's exciting because if you trust what you're using and you're putting your own money into it and you want to buy something, it feels really good to know, hey, am I doing this right, before you hit click and before you send off your money. If it's significant amounts of monies, like with Peace Through Trade, we're working eventually in our testing. We already unlocked a feature which would be a premium service. People would have to apply for it, and if they get approved, there would be a fee. But we had already unlocked the ability for a user to have unlimited insurance on their funds. And right now, I hope I have that in my bank account. But even here in America, a few years ago, when the Silicon Valley Bank went under, the insurance body agreed to pay all of those accounts back. Well, those were some pretty big accounts. And there was even some very reputable articles by some very good financial journalists that said, how much money does the FDIC have even left in its treasury after paying off all of these? So it's the only reason something in blockchain could have that, though, is because of how safe and how secure it is. It could unlock new levels of insurance. What does that mean? It means that hopefully with a blockchain technology, like my wife said, Peace Through Trade was architected and engineered from inception 5 years ago to make it more energy efficient as possible. As a result, we're completely powered by renewables. I don't know of another blockchain and AI technology that's currently powered by renewables. That's pretty cool. Yeah. It was also engineered from the outset to be the opposite of Bitcoin, so that as it grows and expands more so, it becomes more efficient. Right. And that's what my wife said. Whereas right now with Bitcoin, we're looking looking at the opposite. But the goal is, like, right now we can participate in the public markets like the gentleman from the Green Exchange mentioned. But if we were to build something in Panama, we could have people from Taiwan, from Singapore, from Hong Kong, from Ghana, instantly buying these carbon credits, knowing that their funds are safe in the transaction, where they're being held, and the goal being that we participate in that more so. Those funds go to support more so not only Panama and the government, but their sustainability issues.
Beautiful. No, I mean, as a nature-powered blockchain, it seems like the ideal and perfect partner for Panama, given its leadership on the global stage. Well, look, I wanted to end with making an announcement that we've talked about. So, you know, we have talked about the importance of the UN General Assembly coming up. Of course, the government of Panama is going to be taking its Universal Declaration of Nature Rights to the UNGA, as it's known, at the end of September, when heads of state from around the world descend on New York. But Peace Through Trade has partnered with and will be powering the Blockchain for the Goals Summit that SDG News is going to be bringing to the UN headquarters during the UN General Assembly. It's really the first convening of its kind, bringing together blockchain leaders, government leaders, industry leaders, and really exploring how to take what's working and, of course, provide governments what so many governments are looking for but lack, which is a compliance blockchain aligned with the policies they're putting in place so that they can effectively regulate it, contain it, and ensure that it is safe, reliable, resilient, and secure. And what's beautiful about what you've done is you've made sure it's sustainable as well.
Yeah, well, and I completely forgot to mention in closing, this project's been incubated within universities. So even in our discussions with Panama, we have built it all according to the regulations of Singapore. They were the most progressive with their laws. It's something that we kind of need to sprint on. And we won't discuss it in great detail, but the world's about to completely change. So
That's for next year's Nature Summit.
But, you know, it's cool to know that we're trying to put together these global, scalable solutions founded within sustainability. And if you want to learn more, we would love to see you at Blockchain for the Goals at the United Nations this upcoming UNGA.
Excellent. Well, Arai, Kailea, thank you so much for joining me today.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.